Greetings, my fellow YouTubians. My name is Scott, and welcome to my channel if you're new here. I'm about to start a new series on the films by director David Lynch, and so I wanted to talk a little about him as an introduction. But first, I want to mention a YouTubian who is no longer on the site as far as I can tell, and has been gone for some time now. Who has in the past inspired me to make these series in the first place, and he was known as Zacko263. I don't know why it was that his channel's been deleted. He's not on YouTube anymore, but he did some really terrific videos. He did a series on Quentin Tarantino and one on Christopher Nolan's films prior to The Dark Knight Rises coming out. And whenever anyone asks me, hey, you ought to do a series on one of those guys, I'm like, well, you know what, if you go over to this guy's channel, he's done an excellent series. Check his videos out because they're great. I can't do that anymore, of course, which is one of the reasons why I did a Christopher Nolan series this last summer, and also because the third Batman film came out. So yeah, I miss him. He's a very smart guy, and I'd really like to see him back on here doing movie reviews again. But one of the last videos that he put up on his channel, before it was unceremoniously wiped clean from the site, was an announcement video that he was going to be doing a new director series, but he wasn't sure who was going to be on. In the video he said, here are 4 directors who I might do. Leave a comment and vote on which one you'd like me to do. And when I saw that one of the names on the list was David Lynch, I thought, oh my goodness, I really would love him to do that series, because I would love to hear what he has to say about all of that guy's films. If you're not familiar with David Lynch, some of his most famous films are Blue Velvet, and Mulholland Drive, and he was also responsible for the theatrical film of Dune, which was since turned into a mini-series on the Sci-Fi Channel later on. He did The Elephant Man with John Hurt, and he, of course, is the creator of the television series Twin Peaks, and he did a feature film based on that series as well called Fire Walk With Me. He's also done Lost Highway. He's done Wild at Heart with Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern. The last film that he made, I believe, was released in 2006, also starring Laura Dern, called Inland Empire. Since then, he's been working mostly on short films and music and art and just basically other stuff aside from feature films, which is a shame. I'd like to see him do something in the future. Now, if you were to ask me what some of my favorite directors are, who would be like my top 10, David Lynch wouldn't be on that list. If you asked me, I like his film, which film of his do you love the most? That's a tough question. I don't really love any of his movies, to be quite honest. There's some I like more than others, but I'm not a huge Lynch fan. But I admire him greatly because his films are a genre unto himself, most of the time anyway. There's a few more conventional films that he's made. The Straight Story with Richard Farnsworth, The Elephant Man, those are pretty much straightforward films, but for the most part, the way he works is extremely surreal. Some of his movies are more story-driven than others, but they all have this imagery and this feel to it that is unlike any other filmmaker around. Not even Terrence Malick. Terrence Malick, he has his own thing, his own style. Robert Altman, he had his own style that was unique to him. And David Lynch has a style that you couldn't possibly mistake for anyone else's if you were familiar with his films. Some of his films are downright inexplicable. I just don't know what's going on, especially the last one, Inland Empire. It's a very confusing film. And so for this series, I'm going to be rewatching each of his films and just trying to go in fresh and just trying to look at it, because some of them I haven't seen in a really long time. Like a lot of these series I'm doing, I'm rewatching films that I haven't seen in many years, and that's certainly the case with this one. And some of them I know going into them that I don't like them, but I'm going to give each of them another shot just to see how it goes, and just try and... I don't really know exactly. I'm just curious. I'm just curious about what's going on in the guy's head. Another thing about David Lynch is that he doesn't really offer a lot of insight as to his process. He doesn't want to reveal his tricks like the stage magician. He wants to keep everyone in the dark, and he doesn't talk about how he makes his films and the process that he goes through. Mulholland Drive, you're probably familiar with Mulholland Drive because it was going to be a television pilot for a series. But ABC, or whichever network hired him to do it, they didn't really like the pilot, so instead he incorporated footage from the pilot and shot new footage in order to make the film. And he didn't want to talk about what footage was for the television series and what was the freshly shot footage he shot for the movie. There's a few scenes which obviously could never be shown on American TV. You say, oh, that was specifically for the film. But he never, as far as I know, has done a DVD commentary, and you know, there's no real behind-the-scenes stuff or anything like that. It's all, he wants to keep everyone sort of in the dark about that, because I think he wants people to sort of bring their own sensibilities to his films and just sort of look at it more as a piece of abstract art some of the time, and just say, what does this mean to me, rather than trying to figure out what it is that he means. Like I said, some of his movies are more straightforward than others, but the ones that are mysterious and just inexplicable in many ways are some of the most memorable films that he's made. So I'm going to be looking at each one and trying to figure out what's going on in some of these movies, because I just don't know some of the times. And I hope that you'll find that interesting. I don't expect this to be as popular as, say, a Christopher Nolan series, you know, which I had a lot of people commenting on my Christopher Nolan series. And I don't expect quite as much interest in this, but for those of you who are, I hope you you know, enjoy what I'm doing. So thanks very much for watching, and I'm going to start the series on Wednesday with his first film, Eraserhead. So I will see you then. Thanks very much, and talk to you soon. Bye.